So this podcast is about empowering you, driven women, to align your deepest desires, wishes, manifestations, and to create the life that you've dreamed of. Today, we are diving into something that shapes literally everything in our lives. It's our vision. So my goal here is to take you on a journey to see not only how powerful vision is and how to connect to it and what keeps us from connecting to it, but really what it means to truly live aligned in our purpose and vision. Welcome back to another episode of the Becoming You podcast. I'm Rebecca Cafiero. I am your go-to girl for business and life strategies, and always, literally, as I'm like, where's my nearest crystal with a dash of woo? And so first of all, the first question I have, and I was actually taking a small group through this today on Friday, which is just a few days ago. I was doing a keynote on vision, and it really gave me the permission to reconnect with my own vision and to really think about what in the heck is vision, because it's a word we hear often, but how often are we really stopping to ask ourselves, like, what is our personal definition of vision? And over the last few days, I've heard so many different definitions, but they've always been around, like, what is it that you're dreaming or creating, or what is available that lives in the energy of possibility that is our responsibility and privilege to actually bring to life? So I'll tell you the definition. The Webster's definition is vision is the ability to imagine and plan for the future with purpose and wisdom. But I love the word imagine, imagination. And our vision is only constricted or made small by what we personally believe it can be. You hear this saying, like, you can't hit a target that you can't see. But I would also say it's very rare for our lives to have more happen in them than what we believe is possible. Typically, what we believe is possible is the constructs, it's the container, it's the ceiling of what is possible. So I want to share a little story, and I wish I could show you, but I have these two photos that I have side by side, and I love to share these. And one of them is me in 2015, and it was just about a month after I quit my corporate job and really ended a 12-year long career that when I started, I thought I would end not my life in, but in my professional career end. And after 12 years of going up the corporate ladder and really what felt like actually a lifetime, because the 12 years I was in real estate were like the dog years of real estate. And even though I have my license now, it was like I breathed and dreamt and, eat, breathe, and slept real estate. And over that time, literally managed thousands and thousands of transactions, personally sold hundreds and hundreds of homes, and managed more than $1 billion in sales. When I left that job, I had to really completely recreate not only my identity, but also my vision for my life. Because for the first probably 9 or 10 of those years, my vision was taking over and someday being the female CEO of this Fortune 150 company that I worked for. So I had to reconnect with my vision. And that February of 2015, fresh off quitting my job, I went to an event called the Bliss Project in Orange County, and it was an event put on by Lori Harder, who you've heard on this podcast before, and I've had the beautiful pleasure of being on her podcast twice. And I remember I went into the event with very little vision for the event, very little intention. I was like, this looks fun. Lori is someone I admire. I listen to her podcast. I'm going to walk away feeling better than I did going into it. And I did. But more importantly, I came out of it knowing that I was meant to also create events, that I wanted to be on stage, that I wanted to be a facilitator of transformation in women, that I wanted to create energetic containers and communities where women could show up and dream bigger and support each other and get the tactile strategies and steps and all of the things that they needed to not only make their own world a better place through, building out their purpose and their businesses, but also create a massive impact on the worlds around them, making the world that we all share a better place. So I look at that photo, and it was in this energy of possibility. And then I look at just a photo I had taken in September at Weekend at the Pitch Club. And it's Lori and I sitting on a stage together, on a couch together on stage, and me interviewing her. And it's this full circle moment that vision realized. But I will tell you, I didn't know the hows of that vision. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I had an idea of it. I didn't know. I knew what the what was. I knew what I wanted to do. I even knew why I wanted to do it, but I did not know the how. We have to fall in love with the what and the why. Now, what I realized is that vision was created. So now I have to go back and recreate a new vision. Because here's what I have found to be true about vision is that vision is what pulls us forward through daily noise. It's what aligns us with our bigger purpose. It is what pulls us through fear and distraction and excuses. So here's what I want you to do for a moment. Now, if you're driving, I will tell you, listen to this. Don't listen to what I'm saying as far as don't close your eyes. But if you're in a place that you can, you're in the middle of something and you can just close your eyes for a moment, I want you to do this. And I want you to, take in a deep breath and allow yourself to connect with your body. And as you continue to inhale and exhale, I want you to imagine yourself floating away from your home into the sky, past the clouds, up higher and higher, past the atmosphere, and to see yourself just floating into space, getting closer to the stars, maybe to the moon. And as you're floating, as you're getting further and further away, I want you to just slow your ascent until you're stopped in space in this beautiful, unending quiet, and turn around in your spacesuit and look at the perspective of Earth behind you. And we can all instantly bring this to mind, even though probably no one has actually seen this, unless you're the amazing scientist that works for SpaceX, Kelly. And if you are, connect with me. I want you on this podcast. But we see this beautiful perspective of Earth that we have seen from photos or videos of the space shuttle. And we see the big picture. We see the wonder. We see the magnificence and the stillness. As we see that, as we sit in this deep gratitude for being a piece of this beautiful reality in front of us, this beautiful world in front of us, I want you to imagine yourself slowly, safely being pulled back by the gravity of Earth, back through the atmosphere, back through the clouds, back down into wherever you were sitting before. And as you come through, you're going to notice the air, the sound of the air, the wind, the airplanes. As you come close to your home, the cars, just the noise of everyday life. And as you're pulled back into your seat, and your to-do list didn't go away, and you've got unread text messages and all these other things that are constantly calling to us in life, we lose sight of that big picture. And what we realize is that often we get distracted by all of these little things that are very fairly calling for our attention. So Oprah said, create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life because you become what you believe. And I believe that. But I also believe that because vision pulls us forward and it gives us purpose beyond just waking up and saying, I want to get through the day, that we must make our vision bigger. I like to imagine our vision is like the lighthouse. And if we are out on sea as this ship that is getting buffeted by the wind and the waves, which is just life happening, is that light strong enough to guide us safely to shore? And often it's not. Often we might have realized our vision and not set a new one, or we might have even forgot because we haven't connected to it. So we need to ask yourself, here's some questions you can journal. What does your ideal future life look like? Or what does it mean to be aligned with that vision? And what I have found is that, often it's easy to have this idea of vision that feels so far away. It feels so big. And we don't feel like we are yet the people that are ready to take action on it. We need more of whatever, certifications, maturity, peace, quiet, space, a lot of things that just, let's be real, don't come. And so when we really look at the fact that our vision isn't just in the future, I think it's the book Atomic Habits. They talk about this. Our vision isn't this big thing off in the future. Our vision goes way beyond those big goals. It's in the small intentional actions that we take every day. So it's not about waiting to be ready to become the person that can create whatever that vision is. It's literally created daily. And so a little exercise I want you to do, or you can do this mentally, you can do it on your notepad, you can voice memo it to yourself, you can tell it to ChatGPT, is to think about the things that you do every day, the actions, the things that you spend your time and your energy, your resources on every day. And this is not about judging any of it. This is just information. It's just reflecting on the information of saying, okay, when I look through these things that I'm doing every day or every week, are these things that move me closer to my vision, further away, or they do nothing? Meaning they're not a negative, well, it's not negative or positive. They don't move you closer or further away. So doing the dishes, theoretically, if you run out of dishes and you can't eat, that could move you further away. So doing the dishes probably just keeps you right there, right? No, neither closer, no further. Now, when let's say, am zoning out while I'm doing dishes and laundry, then I probably, if I'm watching Real Housewives or something like that, probably moving myself farther away from my vision. I'm going to be real honest. Sometimes I want to do that, especially late at night when I have no mental capacity. If I'm listening to a podcast about vision, about action, probably moving me closer, especially if it's activating me into taking some type of of aligned action towards my vision. So think about, what are you doing daily and how is that allowing you to get closer? Now, you might be saying, and I actually said this the other day when I was writing this keynote on vision that I did for a local group called Creative Mornings. I was like, what is my vision? Because my vision, I like create the vision, then I'm like, oh no, now what? So my vision had been moving to Carmel for so long and taking a spiritual sabbatical, which I am taking, or I should say I will be taking in 2026. There's still a lot of the how that needs to emerge, but I had this reminder that I need to go back and tap into that vision, and not just one time to create it like you would a vision board and then put it away, but to create it and keep tapping into it. Because while manifestation is wild, and sometimes you can like write something down in a journal or make a vision board and it just will happen to come true, it's much less likely than when you're tapping in and living in the energy of the vision, of the possibility, and more importantly, taking aligned action towards that. So a few questions you can write down, you can journal on. What does my ideal future look like? What impact do I want to have in the world? If I knew I couldn't fail, what would I do or dream of or pursue? And then as a parent, especially to a 5 and an 8-year-old that lovingly call me out all of the time, I like to ask myself, if I truly want to show my children, not tell them, but show them what is possible, what would I create in my life? I want to be the teacher of that lesson. We can write all these things down, but the reality is tapping into our vision on a daily basis can feel really challenging, especially if we're feeling overwhelmed, overscheduled, overtired, like all of those things. If we don't have room for magic, if we don't have energy, if we don't have space. And vision, if you think about when you connect to your vision, like in nature, after movement, in intense connection with other humans while doing something creative, those are my 4. If I can add 2 or 3 of those things together, oh my goodness, it's so easy to tap in, like movement and breath work, movement and visualization, an inspiring walk in nature with someone I care about, that we're talking about those things. But if you're feeling, and I literally was feeling this today, I was like, I am going to record a podcast today on vision and I feel overwhelmed. And my amazing podcast editor, thank you, Mike, if you're listening to this, he said, I encourage you to relook at this. Actually overwhelmed, or is it that so many great things are happening, they're just happening really fast? I went, oh, yes, that's what happening is. But regardless, if you're feeling like you don't have the room or the quiet or the space to tap in, ask yourself, go to the obligation audit in my balance blueprint. You can go to it and say, are some of these things that I need to let go of, I need to release, or I require releasing to have more space for vision, to have more space for aligned action? Or if not, can I just ask for support? But I want you to think about times that you felt really connected to something larger, and what were you doing and how did you feel? And if this was accidental, if it was organic, how can you add more of that into your day or into your week? Because I know that my vision is always amazing when I wake up early and I'm in that energy of possibility before I look at my to-do list or my schedule. If I do breath work, like I feel like anything is possible. Even as life happens, it's like I can overcome it so much easier. And speaking of breath work, I mean, I love breath work because I always get an action item out of it. But if you're connecting right now, and I hope you are connecting to your vision. And I want you to think about one small step you can take towards that vision today. One small step. Personally, I highly recommend sharing it with someone. You can share it with me. Connect with me on Instagram at Rebecca Cafiero. Share a 1 minute or less, because it'll cut you off, a voice memo of what your vision is. And what one small step of aligned action are you committed to taking today? Because there is a massive power, a massive magic when we speak our vision into existence. I had a VIP day with this marketing expert, and we were talking about like KPIs and all the different levers and strategies to make a business successful. And she had a really interesting take. And she said, one of the biggest metrics I see for whether or not founders, business owners, CEOs are successful is how often they're sharing their vision. Now, why is this true? When you think about leadership, right? You as a person listening to this podcast or watching it, you are a leader, because leaders develop themselves. Leaders invest in their growth. Leaders listen to things or do things to not just be inspiring, but to live the life of their dreams. And you're doing that. So whether you're leading your business or your family or your community or your friends or you're just yourself is where it starts. You are a leader. And there's a study done by the Leadership Challenge. It says 72% of people say clear vision is the most important quality of a leader. Not how productive they are, not how smart they are, not even their track record. It's their vision. Because we all want to be part of something that is bigger than ourselves. And that's what our vision is. Is it something that's bigger than us, right? It's got to be big enough to pull us through the fear, to pull us through the noise, to pull us through the distraction. And companies with visionary leaders grow 4 to 6 times faster than those without. That's a Harvard Business Review stat, because people are pulled forward by the vision. And visionary leadership will boost resilience and engagement, not only in companies, but in families, in situations, in communities. I want you to think about a time that you dealt with challenge in your life, that you overcame a challenge because you were clear on your vision. You didn't just say, I just need to survive this. You didn't even tap out, even if you absolutely could have, without any shame, because of the challenge. No, you succeeded or overcame despite the challenge, despite life happening, because you were so clear on your vision. And when you think about that, how did that clarity help you? How did that ability to be zoomed out, to see the bigger picture, help you remember why you're here and where you're going? Because vision it's always within reach, as long as we create the space to see it, as long as we tap into it. And then when we speak it aloud, like going back to that woman that said, the more that founders, CEOs, leaders share their visions aloud, the more power it has and the more chances of them being successful. That means if you're in sales, which by the way, if you're a business owner, you are in sales. It's not just about how many offers you make of your products or services. Because your clients don't want your service, they want to be part of the vision, or they see where what you are doing and your vision is going to help them achieve and create their vision. So speak your vision aloud and give it power. And remember, your vision deserves action. If your vision is aligned, the action should be aligned. Your vision deserves accountability, because sometimes we will show up for others in ways we won't show up for ourselves. But it's about each choice, each step, like literally every moment, right? Or at least a few minutes a day. If you spend a few minutes a day, I always am flabbergasted when people are like, I don't have the time to be healthy, or I don't have time to whatever. But you're like, but you watch an hour of TV a day. This is not shaming. Like, watch the TV while stretching or exercising. Like, that was always my rule. When I had my tonal in the garage, I'm like, I can watch trashy things or read. Like, I would literally listen to an Audible book that was like a romance book while I'm doing a hard workout. I'm earning it, right? So whatever system you set for yourself to ensure that you're moving towards that vision. But the vision is within you. Again, it's about finding the space to see it clearly, tapping into the power of it, giving yourself permission to create it. Your vision is not out there in the future. It's literally here right now. So go share it, go bring it to life. And I want to see your vision. I want to join in on the conversation of your vision. So again, reach out to me on social. You can send me an email, rebecca@rebeccacafiero.com. And it's my privilege to get to support you in your big vision, to give you the tools, the outlooks, like whatever it is that you're getting out of this episode and others to bring that vision to life. My sole purpose here on earth in this life is to show people what's possible. And I hope I'm showing you what is possible for you so that you can go out there and create it. So thank you for spending this time with me on Becoming You. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a review if you love this episode. Share your thoughts. Let's keep creating, aligning, and bringing those incredible, beautiful visions to life.